Welcome to Brothers King Media, where we are shameless fanboys and don't even try to deny it. My name is Samuel.
And I'm Solly.
And we are back. So, not much dilly-dallying to do today. How you been?
Work,
I know, right? Work, life doth go on. Alright, so let's go ahead and just hop right into the billboards, and it's been very stagnant.
Yeah, it's still at the same top 3 people, right?
It is still the exact Lauren Daigle at number 1, For King Country at number 2, and then number 3, Hillsong Worship. Yeah. So, we're dipping all the way to number 4 tonight, Solomon.
Yeah, Casting Crowns, Give Me Jesus.
Casting Crowns, oh my goodness, they're still a thing.
15 years and going strong. I mean, shoot, it's top 4 of the billboards.
I know, right? Like,
kudos to them, man. 15 years. Yeah.
And even with that said, a lot of people, dislike Casting Crowns. They blame them for the fall of Christian music. I personally disagree. I think their first album is a pretty good album. I think Mark Hall has always been a good lyricist. Lyrics has always been his thing. And I think they went for a few years where I just stopped hearing about them, kind of.
Yeah,
but
that I mean, Mark Hall was going through cancer for a long time, so I feel like during that period they weren't on the market as much. But I mean that's very considerable. Seeing that if I was going through cancer, I wouldn't want to be stressing myself out. Yeah. I'm not saying he stresses himself out to make music. He probably doesn't, but stressing to get it out, be oh, we only have this certain amount of time to get stuff done, because that's just not healthy on you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to ask you what your relationship was with Casting Crowns, because my relationship with Casting Crowns is interesting because, like I said, I have always had a soft spot for them.
Right.
Part of that may be nostalgia. My older brother got their CD for his 18th birthday, and he listened to it a few times, and I just kind of stole it from him. I listened to that first album. I was 14 years old, and I listened to it nonstop. I loved that first album. And then I was so excited. I went and bought their second album the day it came out.
Yeah.
And then I went and bought their third album. Not the day it came out, but I bought it pretty quick after it came out. And their third album is a really good one, too. But then I kind of fell off the bandwagon a little bit. Their fourth album was a bit of a letdown for me, Until the Whole World Hears, for those that are keeping track. I feel like that one's a bit of a letdown. But
yeah, see, even when I hear the name of that song, even today, I still think Jeremy Camp. I just think Jeremy Camp.
So, what's your relationship with Casting Crowns? Mine's obviously a nostalgic, slightly soft spot for them.
I grew up on it. That's what one of the main things I heard listening to or heard growing up. Mainly because Mom liked Casting Crowns and Dad thought they were okay. But that's just mainly what we heard.
Yeah.
And they were one of the biggest things on the radio as a kid too.
They were.
They were the biggest thing on the radio.
For a while,
you heard one of their songs every other play. But I guess I didn't really get into. I didn't really. By the time I was getting into the acknowledgement of artists, I guess was right about the time they released Courageous. Then that movie came out. So obviously, that was one of the biggest one of the biggest songs that I listened to, I guess. Uh-huh. Because I listened to all those other ones, but that's the time I remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's about my. I think I was 13 or something when that song came out. So I'm not sure. It's been a while.
I don't keep track.
Yeah, I don't either. It's been a while.
There for a while, though, they were the Christian band. Their first album went double platinum, and I think deservingly so. Like I said, it's
right.
Great lyrics. Even though the music may fall into the slightly generic sector,
some of it.
A lot
of it doesn't. He's got some pretty good lyrics.
His lyrics are always his strong suit, though.
Very strong.
If We Are the Body has always been
If We Are the Body. Okay, yeah, I remember listening to those songs.
Yeah. So, we say all that to say their latest song, Give Me Jesus, and as much as their lyrics are always their strong suit, these lyrics don't particularly touch me.
Right. No. I mean, they don't. I thought the music video was funny. Looked like a movie. Looked like something like, Pure Flix Films would make. I mean, I like Pure Flix.
Yeah.
But it just looked. It wasn't like original. It wasn't very original. Like,
the song was giving me flashbacks to the early 2000s.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's kind of Jeremy Camp thing. You know, I like Jeremy Camp.
Yeah.
But, like, you could tell the difference. You used to be able to tell the difference between him and Casting Crowns, But, like, I feel like more recently, a lot of their songs are sounding like Jeremy Camp.
Which is ironic because Jeremy Camp would have been more influenced by them.
Yeah.
Because they were the huge artist. And even so, Jeremy Camp, his biggest album selling was either a million or gold, I think. Casting Crowns was selling millions.
Yeah.
They had like a lifetime sale of somewhere in the 3-4 million range. So
that ain't bad, man.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Not
That's like
bad at
almost
all.
DC Talk levels of selling. But the song "Give Me Jesus" just didn't strike me as particularly lyrically challenging or anything. The music,
Yeah.
it was safe.
Yeah.
It was inoffensive. It
wasn't like it didn't sound too contemporary, but it didn't sound like secular. Like it
didn't sound like cutting edge.
Yeah, it wasn't cutting edge music. Okay, we're talking cutting edge via 2000s because cutting edge now is sad.
I mean, not always. I don't care what decade you're in, there is always someone out there carrying the torch for good music.
Right.
I mean, nowadays, a lot of that good music tends to fall into the underground scene.
Right.
Because indie music, thanks to the internet, has really taken off. So I'm trying to think of... So, in the more Christian music genre... My thoughts go to, like, Colony House.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, are they Christian?
And they're one of those, we're Christians in a band, but not a Christian band.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually something said. Yeah.
That was was the big thing during the early 2000s.
We're just calling them Christian because their dad's Stephen Curtis Chapman. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, their lyrics had the vague Christian-like
they cussed in one of their songs on the Today Show,
It's
like, it was one of those words that wasn't damnable, but, See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Oh,
sorry.
man. Oh, sorry.
Darn it, Solomon, you just bumped our rating down from G to PG. Gosh.
Hey, at least it's not R.
Gosh, G's dang darn it.
I think you're looking for dab flabbit. Oops. Wait, no, that was a cuss word in the 1800s.
Okay, Casting Crowns. So, I mean, it was... I don't know. I don't even know what I want from Casting Crowns. Like, what I want...
Do we know what we want from them? Yeah.
Like, what I want from them is a
why don't they just re-record all their good songs and give it back to us? You know what I'm saying?
Like what I'm thinking, like, even if... So, like, no matter what direction they go, they would lose. Let's say, for the sake of conversation, they have Aaron Sprinkle come in. Tooth and Nail's main producer, right?
Yeah.
And he produces a Casting Crowns album. I'm sorry, that's not going to sound great.
No, it
would
isn't.
not mesh with him.
Mm-mm.
Let's say we have... I don't know, Seth Mosley come in. He produced a lot of stuff for like Fair Trade, Newsboys in their later years.
Yeah.
That's still not going to sound good.
Yeah. And then we could even go to like, Louis Giglio, who's the main
and I don't want to hear them doing a whole bunch of worship songs.
Yeah, I don't want we don't want to hear Chris Tomlin again.
What they could probably, honestly, what I want to hear from them, and it's kind of sad, is I want to hear a Mark Hall solo album. Is what I want to hear. I want to hear just him and like an acoustic guitar. And just,
But that's the thing, is he can't play an instrument.
No, so what it would have to be... Okay, so how about this? Casting Crowns decides to do, like, a really laid-back acoustic album. Like, full band.
Okay.
But still more mellow, more acoustic. Think more like John Foreman's solo records.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to think of some other people that kind of fall into that. Maybe even some Me Without You a little bit.
Right.
I think that would be an interesting sound for them.
Possible.
And then just lock Mark Hall in a barn with a Bible and a songbook for a month. And just be like, okay, write songs.
Yeah.
I
feel like, that would probably turn out really well.
Yeah.
For the, most likely. I felt, that'd probably be pretty great.
So.
Just saying, because, I feel like that's where most of these guys get their song ideas, is just being, alone for a long time with whatever it is that inspires them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, I've got a whole album here, let's do this.
Yeah. So there's the number 4 song on the Billboards. I hope something goes to number 2 or 1 next week, so we're not dipping down further and further and further.
Because this is we've been ever since week 2, we've already lost our what's it called, our segments, because the first segment was supposed to be number 1 on the Billboard.
Yeah.
But now it's segment. What's on the Billboard?
Yes.
What's next on the Billboard?
What's next on the Billboard? Hey, that would be an interesting segment for next time. Let's try and predict what we think is going to be popular.
Oh, that'd be scary. We would never know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Actually, we could just, play it safe and be like, something from Chris Tomlin.
Honestly, he hasn't been on the Billboards in a minute, though.
Has he?
Hillsong would be your best bet at this point.
Yeah, be like Hillsong. Yeah.
Or
Hillsong Worship
Bethel.
specifically.
No, Hillsong United's made some grand way.
Here recently?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I was about to say here recently, you haven't... United, I actually thought United disbanded. I thought United was done.
Oh, did they?
I think
didn't
so.
Hear about that.
After the United album.
I think we know our next Whatever Happened To segment.
I thought we already decided that one. We gotta put them on the list, though.
As far as I know, Hillsong United, because Hillsong United isn't a band,
right?
They're a
this is the thing.
They're a marketing.
They're a collective.
Yeah, they're Hillsong Group's youth group,
right? This is Hillsong's youth group is Hillsong Young and Free.
Well, they're 20-somethings.
Yeah, well, this is what United was was actually solo, a bunch of solo artists that were in that church, but not part of Hillsong the band.
Okay.
Because their church is called Hillsong 2. It's weird, because there's just way too much Hillsong on the market. It's confusing.
Okay.
Right, come on. Hey, Joel, and I forget what your brother's name is, but Joel, Houston, whatever. We need some help here, man. Help us out, bro. Give us some different names to work with. Even if it's He'll sing or something. But it's got to be different. Because we're hearing Hillsong, Hillsong United, Hillsong Young and Free, Hillsong Worship.
That reminds me, I might have to look it up sometime for this thing.
Oh, this may be one of those churches where it is Winter Jam every service.
Well, do you remember that poster I showed you one time? It was making fun of Christian music, and it was here's Jeremy Camp and his biceps. Here's Switchfoot with their secular set. Here is Hillsong.
And it looks like the Avengers poster?
No, I'll read it sometime. I know,
I'm joking, but that's what it should look like. The Avengers poster. You know how there's 500 of the Marvel superheroes?
Oh, yeah.
Be like the Avengers poster.
But Hillsong.
The Avengers, but Hillsong.
So you were saying...
there's just so much marketing in Hillsong. But, Hillsong United, I think, was, and it may not even been, solo artists in the church. Because I know that, Hillsong is based in Australia. Mm-hmm. But one of the singers that was in... Actually, their Hillsong United album had Oceans. Mm-hmm. And the singer from Oceans is from England.
Okay.
So, it's worship groups that church is acquainted with that came and band together thus giving us Hillsong United.
So technically speaking, Hillsong United should never die because there will always be other artists out there to join the collective.
Right, pretty much. It should never die, but Hillsong United disbanded after United album. Like they didn't release anything after United album as the group that was on United. It's
no, like, because there's been a Hillsong United album every year for the past 20 years.
No, I'm talking... Okay, yeah. But, like, what I'm saying is Hillsong United, the original group,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they might still be going, but the original group known as Hillsong United, that everybody knows because they were the first Hillsong United,
Mm-hmm.
they aren't together no more.
Well, yeah.
It's a bunch of the younger kids now.
Yeah.
But the guitar player, he's always the same. I forget what his name is, but he's dreadlocks,
Mm-hmm.
He has always been in the group. He's in every Hillsong group. But he's also like part of the church.
Yeah.
Same goes with their piano player, which I guess we can't really be like, oh yeah, their piano player, because like every 5 seconds during a song, they all switch instruments.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. But like apparently they are known for their instrument, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's the piano player. Why is he on the drums?
I think Gunger kind of started that because I went to a Gunger concert back in 2012 and they were doing a lot of the instrument switching. And now I go to Ren Collective. I've been to Ren Collective recently. They do that a lot. I just got back from a For King Country concert. They did a lot of instrument switching. So I think it's like the new kind of popular thing to do to get multi-talented people to put on a blazing live show.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just... Yeah, what else are you going to do with worship music? You throw flames in the air and everyone's going to be like, oh God, does this represent you? Like... it's like just one of those questionable things.
Yeah.
But...
So casting crowns.
Casting crowns. I thought... Wait, we're not on the next part of the segment?
No, we're still on.
Okay. What else is there to say about them, man?
Man, I hope they do well for themselves.
Yeah, still. Like, they're doing pretty great, apparently.
Yeah. All right, moving on to next segment.
Whatever happened to
Flyleaf?
Well, I forget what the lead singer's name was.
Lacey Sturm.
Lacey Sturm. Well, she left as of, 2012?
Yes.
And they brought in a new lead singer, also a female, Kristen May.
Okay.
And some of us may know her from the band Vidira.
Vidira, okay.
Which was a rock band, obviously.
They were like indie rock more.
Well,
they did like the Fray Coldplay rock.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really rock. It was here's some folk songs with electric guitars.
Right. Folk songs with electric guitars. Well, hey, that's a good genre.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Only thing that would have made Cat Stevens better is if there was some electric guitar in there. If you don't know who Cat Stevens is, 70s folk artist. There you go. History.
So, Flyleaf, they have an interesting career, I think, because... So, Kristen May comes in, right?
Right.
Well, let's actually back up. So, Flyleaf forms in the late 90s or whatever, early 2000s.
Right.
Lacey, she was Mosley back then, later became Sturm.
Okay.
And it's funny because they've had the exact same guitar, drum, bass lineup their whole entire career. Those
Right.
4 guys have never changed. Which is rare for a rock band. Particularly when Lacey Sturm was the band.
Right.
Like, all the media went to her. She wrote all the lyrics. It was her band.
Yeah, it probably got weird.
Like
after the guitar, or after the band, the actual band, was like, wait, we don't write our own lyrics. Like,
well, I think they were.
What are we gonna do, dude? Like, what are we gonna do? We can't just be a musical.
Well,
or instrumental.
they were all super cool with each other, but I just find it interesting that the band stayed when it was mainly like her thing, right?
Right. So are you saying
rare.
that she started the band?
Well, it was her and the guitar player. They were friends, and they just started playing together.
All right, I got you.
As most bands start out.
Yeah. Some of them actually take off.
I know. And they have, a lot of history. I know she wrote a memoir I want to read really bad about how she went through drugs. The band got big, which got her further into drugs. And then she kind of had to pull herself out, got, closer to God, married her husband, had her child, etc.
Quit the band.
So in 2012, she's like, hey, I want to be with my family more. Also, Flyleaf was one of those we're Christians in a band, but not a Christian band groups,
right. Yeah.
And she was leaning very heavily towards, I am a Christian artist. This is who I am.
Right.
In their last year together, they covered, I cannot think of the song, John Mark McMillan.
How He Loves.
How He Loves, yes.
They covered How He Loves?
And it's beautiful.
And then David Crowder Band covered I'm Alive?
No, they...
Wait, what's that song called?
All Around Me.
All Around Me?
I know, right?
Wait, but then David Crowder in the same album did How He Loves.
And you know what's even better? Flyleaf, and only during live concerts, covered None Compares to You, God Almighty, by David Crowder Band.
That's funny.
And they were rocking it.
Toured.
I wish David Crowder Band and Flyleaf would have toured together.
And then had this jam session, because I feel like that they would probably do pretty well.
Oh, just a giant metal,
Yeah, this giant metal classical folk. What the heck is this? This is called beauty. This is called real music.
Yes.
Where are you at, people? Come on.
So Lacey Sturm, by this point, I think she was leaning towards I am a Christian artist. And also, she wanted to spend more time with her husband and child. Good for her. I'm all for that,
Yeah, quit the band, man.
So she left.
Instead of dealing with 4 or 5 babies, she only has to deal with the 1. Or maybe 2.
She was like, I know Flyleaf, if you're ever out there listening, I know nothing about you.
She was the band mom.
But she was a teen mom.
Come on, when you guys were fighting, she was the one who fixed the problem, talked you through it, and gave you guys your cupcakes after it was over. And probably made the mac and cheese on the tour bus. So, you love her. We love her.
So
we love you.
And so they were hitting a conundrum, So Christian May, her band had just broken up. So
Christian May?
Kristen May.
I wasn't sure. There for a second, I was like, maybe I heard it wrong the first time. But, yeah, okay.
So her band broke up, so she joined Flyleaf, Right. It was kind of like 2 band breakups, but one actually still had the band.
But what would be funny is if her band started playing Christian music for the first lady.
I know, right?
That would have been so weird, wouldn't it?
So, and then they recorded their album together. It was what was her band's name?
Vadira.
They were much more, like I said, a Coldplay, Frey type sound. And when you listen to that last Flyleaf album, it really, you can hear it. They were slowing way down. They were less distortion. And I think a couple things happened. One, Lacey Sturm, like I said, was the band. That's who all the fans loved.
Right.
I mean, yes.
Come on, her voice, though, man.
She has a great voice. But I'm sure the rest of the band had their fans, but she was the main draw.
Right.
So your lead singer, it's like... it's like when Steve Perry left Journey.
Yeah,
they still had the fans, but Steve Perry was...
Come on, Steve Perry was the band. Yeah, and actually he just came out with a new album. Listen to it, guys. That's pretty good. Just look it up. I mean, that's inconclusive.
So Lacey Sturm leaves. They get this new lead singer. And then on top of not being Lacey Sturm, they release a lot of kind of slower radio-friendly songs.
Right.
You can imagine how that didn't set well with the fans.
Nope.
And then, 4 years later, Kristen May leaves, and she says, I want to be closer to my husband, my kid, and she also said, I never really felt like part of the band. And I wonder if it wasn't a little bit of those 4 guys had been together for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And she was the outsider coming in,
right. Yeah. I guess that's true.
Like, that's got to be an adjustment.
And then also,
you know?
like, you know...
And then the fans
She couldn't do the bro stuff with them after the concerts or whatever, you know?
And then the fans probably weren't responding well.
Yeah. They're like, ew, boo the new girl. Bam, no, you rock.
I know.
You know, that would suck.
I
That
almost
would
feel
really
bad
suck.
for them.
I mean,
I do feel bad for them. Because that was a rough situation.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm not, like, I'm just saying, they tried.
Yeah.
They tried. I mean, for the most part, yeah, her style is different, but I feel like she still has that same energy with her voice.
Yeah.
She could still do the same job, but maybe, you know, the style. The style throws it off a lot.
Yeah. So it's kind of a tragedy. So at this point, Flyleaf is just kind of not there.
Hanging out there in the abyss.
I would like to imagine the four guys from Flyleaf went and, like, you know, formed a metal band, and they're just, like, playing the underground scene together right now.
Yeah, that'd be pretty lit.
Like, they're just like, you know, we don't need a female singer, we can do this ourselves.
Yeah. The females cause the problems. No,
yeah.
I mean, not really, but
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
What I predict will happen, I would be surprised, because Lacey Sturm has went on to have a fairly successful solo career. She's released one album, maybe two, and it's honestly her solo album sounded more like Flyleaf than Flyleaf's last album.
Right.
And so I see, like, them having a reunion tour at some point.
Yeah.
And being like, you know, here's for all our old fans, yada yada. I see that being a thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
So that's what happened to Flyleaf. That's their story.
So what was our random topic?
So random
topic of the day. Who is your favorite female artist?
So ironically enough, Lacey Sturm,
Yeah.
right at the top of the list. She just her voice mainly.
Right.
I love that voice.
Yeah.
As far as songwriting goes, because I'm a lyric guy, you know,
Yeah.
that's my thing.
You're a huge lyric guy.
So I'm always, I've always been a big fan of Leigh Nash of Sixpence None the Richer.
Yep.
She is amazing. And then also Jennifer Knapp. Everyone may not agree with where she's at in her life now, and I can understand that. You know, I'm obviously not, like, in wholehearted agreement with her, but she's still a good songwriter.
Okay.
And her first three albums in the Christian market were amazing. Like, they were so far above what most female artists were putting out at that time. So those are kind of my top three picks, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, you can't tell it, but I really like guitar music.
Yeah. Yeah. You really like guitar music, man. Which is good. Which is good. Everybody should like guitar music. Guitar's where it's at, people. That's where the real art is. Not everyone can... Anyone can memorize a keyboard. Not anyone can memorize a fretboard. I know for a fact. I've been playing guitar for 11 years, and I still can't tell you off the top of my head where a single note is. Unless it's open. Anyway... let's see. My favorite female artist is Blanca.
Okay.
Because, like, I just like her voice. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Is that just currently or of all time?
Like, I mean, of all time, honestly. I'm not het on female artists. Nothing against, you know, gender. It's just, I just don't like listening to female artists. Mainly because when I listen to music, I like to listen to stuff that I can kind of compare myself with. And I feel like when I listen to female artists and then I hear their songs and when I sing them, I try to sing that note and it just screws it up. It's bad.
Okay.
And like, so, I mean, just generally, I like Blanca. But if I was going to have, like, other favorites, it would definitely be Kristen Sturm or Kristen May.
Okay.
Because, like, I like her voice, too.
Okay.
I like Flyleaf. I haven't listened to a whole lot of their songs. The ones I have heard, I like.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the voice, man. She's got that hard rock voice. Like, if Steve Perry...
Okay, are you talking Kristen May?
Oh, no.
Or are you talking Lacey Sturm?
Yeah, Lacey Sturm. Sorry. Great. Now you have me confused. I don't know what I'm thinking. Anyway... hey, I was cramming this history in this week, man. Anyway, but, like, she's got that voice that, like, if Steve Perry was a girl,
Yeah.
That would be him.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because she just got that. Like, that. Boom. I'm going to hit this note with no problem whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'd just say number one. Blanca, she's from Group on Crew. Used to be. And, I haven't listened to a whole lot of them. But that was part of, the time when I was growing up, starting to get in music a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That was some of what we heard,
Yeah.
And okay, I'm just going to be real. I can tell you people that I like. I can't name songs for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start singing the song, I might be like, oh yeah, I like that song. But if you're like, oh, such and such, got no idea what you're talking about, man. But just because I heard their songs, but I never was just oh, what is this song? Because back then I remember phones weren't a real big thing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able just to look up whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. I just had to hear the song and go by the lyric.
Oh, those were the dark times,
weren't they? Because then it's also that was the times when you're great, we're in the Blaze band, and we don't have chord charts, man. That's back when our band was great, the Blaze band.
Yeah.
Chad, Bobby, all of them, which. We really need some more of that because it's becoming the whole covenant worship, elevation worship thing, man. We need saved. Oh, speaking of female singers.
This has nothing to do with our personal lives. We do. Moving on.
I'm sorry. I'm just venting. I'm just here venting. But speaking of female artists, we have a pretty good singer. Okay, our whole praise team's female singers.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm just saying, I have nothing against female artists. I just don't have a whole lot of I don't have a whole lot of influence from them, which would make them my favorites.
That's fair.
I could name you several males. Okay, 97.5% of all artists. Actually, we have to make that 97 because that half man. I don't know what that. Oh, it'd be that one guy that's singing for Queen now. What's his name?
Mark Martel.
No, singing for Queen now.
Oh,
Lambert.
Yeah, Lambert.
Adam Lambert. That would be the 0.5% male.
Moving on.
Anyway, it has to be 97% of all the singers out there are male. It's a very... So I guess that's something we could throw in there. Is kudos to all the female singers out there who have made it. Because it's a very, very, very shallow thing. You don't see a whole lot of them,
I agree and disagree. So here's a phenomenon I have noticed. Growing up in church, you see a lot of singing.
Right.
Because, I've been to a lot of different churches, conferences. A majority of the singers you see will be female.
Right. Well,
Okay, so stick with me. But professionally, you do raise a good point. While I think there's a plethora of female singers, particularly in rock, which is what we listen to.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of ladies, right? And I wonder if that's not a little bit of, it's called his story for a reason, right?
Yeah.
History is all about guys. They tend to dominate markets.
Right.
So I wonder if the female genre, or whatever, as you will, has been barred entrance into this rock world a little bit because it's been so guys control everything.
Yeah, that could be that's a very, very strong assumption. Because it could be very accurate.
Because think about the huge female artists. Most of them aren't rocking. Even in modern time, biggest girl I can think of is Adele.
Yeah,
and she's
barely rocking either.
She rocks, but in a different way.
She does. Well, we can't say that because Set Fire to the Rain.
Yeah,
that was very rock.
Yeah.
What is that other one?
You're thinking of you just made the song run away from my head. Good job, buddy. And we could have had it all.
Yeah, could have had it all.
That's not what it's called.
Rolling in the Deep. There it is. Yeah. Hey, she had some very rocky songs, and those were her biggest songs.
But that was also more modern. That was also the most modern.
Modern, yeah.
Go back to the 60s.
Well,
70s.
shoot, go back to the 90s, man.
Like 90s had a little bit more, not as much.
But when you get to the 80s, I could think off the top of my head 2 female singers, and I did not like them.
Well, most of them were underground. Like the big female singers, you're looking at stuff like Madonna, pop music.
Yeah, it was pop music. Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Is like you just don't see a lot, and I guess that's where I was going with this because. Okay, rock is pretty much the only music I listen to. I listen to some folk because folk is just a offset acoustic version of rock.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And I used to think folk music was like that's bluegrass.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah.
I like folk. Bluegrass, it just depends. I have to really know the song or I have to be into it. But like I guess that's where I was going is like if you're a female artist, you've made it into some sort of rock
genre
set. Like if you're in there, if you have records out there, good for you because you do not see that.
Kudos to you.
So many kudos to you guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what a kudo is, but so many of them. Just
like bravo.
All we can give them to you.
Bravo.
Hundreds and thousands of kudos.
So, I guess we say all that to say hats off to the ladies of rock.
Yeah, hats off to
There's not enough of them.
What? Mother rockers. Yeah. Mothers of rock.
Mothers of rock. Man, like, gosh, you even go back in Christian music. The female artists I think of that were decently big back in the day were like Jenny Owens, Amy Grant, the girls inside the second chapter of Acts, and that was all very safe pop music.
Right.
It's a shame. It's really a shame. Well, Solomon, buddy,
that just about concluded our show for today.
That is concluded. So
hey, at least we're not over time on it. Like we've been like killing the time, man. And I mean, it's not that this week hasn't been fun. It has been. I just don't feel like for the people that we've picked for today that we've had a lot of information to go off of because they're not necessarily like quitting bands, but they're also not like making any super like groundbreaking. They're not making any groundbreaking performance, you know. But I mean, music's music. It all matters. It's part of the story.
All right, so keep being that glimpse of eternity.
Rock on.